Hi, I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join me as we chat with industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favorite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you want answers to. Our goal, a zero carbon future. In today's episode, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Graham Smith, the Senior Engineer and Trainer for Sungrow, Australia. Hello, Graham. How are we?
Hello, Roshan. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for inviting me on the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us, mate. It's great to have you on. And I'm pretty sure I bumped into you actually at the Smart Energy Conference.
Probably. I've been around for a while and I've bumped into everyone at one time, I think.
Mate, well, look, there's it's great to have you on here. Obviously, one of the major points of conversation today is just the inclusion of Sungrow on the final episode of Renovate or Rebuild that airs this Saturday. But before we get into that, Graham, it's always nice to find out a little bit more about the person behind the brand. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Graham? I mean, your journey in the renewable energy industry today?
Yeah, okay. Well, I suppose it all started about 15, 16 years ago. I was in the electronics industry and the electrical industry as well. And it just occurred to me that I would like to be in an industry with a future instead of industries in decline. And what I could see was a great future in renewable energy. I can see it becoming absolutely dominant in the energy supply globally. So I put myself through a TAFE course. It was a very general renewable energy course. And through that, I was able to get my first job in a solar company. And since then, I've progressed through the ranks. And so I'm now in a senior position. So it's fantastic. My journey has been fantastic. And I've seen the industry growing from virtually nothing up to what it is today. It's huge today.
Look,
and of course, yep.
No, go on. You carry on, mate. You carry on.
And of course, 6 years ago, just over 6 years ago, I started at Sungrow. And now I find myself doing videos.
Well, mate, we'll have you on television in no time. But Graham, what had you choose Sungrow? I mean, what attracted you about Sungrow as an organisation?
Okay, well, when I was my previous employment, I was based in Adelaide. It was a national company, and we were installing systems. And the battery hybrids were just starting to come in at that point. And after a lot of research, figured that the Sungrow was the best system, just easiest to install, very straightforward, well designed. We did a couple of them and it was great. They just went in very easy. There was no problems. And of course, shortly after that, I came over to Sydney and that's when I started working at Sungrow. And of course, when I saw the job advertised, I thought, that's the kind of company I want to work for.
Oh, look, they're an absolute giant. I mean, I don't think there's anyone listening or watching this today that doesn't know who Sungrow are. I mean, that's an absolute giant in the industry. Probably the largest producer of inverters in the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the technology is incredible. I mean, before we get stuck into the tech, I mean, tell me a little bit more about Sungrow. So for those who don't know Sungrow, which is unlikely, and where they're based, tell me a bit more about them.
Okay, well, they are, the headquarters is in Hefei, China. They started in 1997 and we opened up 2012 in Australia. And I say it's been growth. We now have about 70 plus staff in the Sydney office. We're based in North Sydney. And of course, we've got the warehouse and the workshop and the testing centre in Smithfield, New South Wales as well. So the company in that respect has grown from a very small minor player up to this huge player. And of course, globally, as you said, we are the number one distributor globally, and we've got presence in over 150 countries. So it's and we do everything from small 2 kilowatts up to megawatt systems, and of course the batteries as well. We do big battery systems as well. So we're right in there. And
that's absolutely phenomenal. And look, we'll talk about the batteries because they do feature in the Renovate or Rebuild episode that's coming up. Yeah. But I'm going to test you on some stats here, Graham, and feel free if you don't know. But, how many batteries and inverters have you guys installed so far today? Do you know?
I don't know the exact number, but on the iSolar Cloud, which is our monitoring platform, the last time I looked, there was 300,000 plants
Wow,
in
that's
Australia.
that's
So
incredible.
yeah, and a growing number of these are hybrid with battery. I don't have the exact numbers.
No, that's fair
Yeah,
enough. And look, and once again, I mean, it's so reassuring if you're a consumer or an end user looking to install Sungrow, because fundamentally, when you're installing any type of technology, no matter what
yeah,
you're buying or what you're using, you want a brand A that you can trust, but secondly, you just
that's
want to
right.
know that it's that the quality of technology is there.
Yeah.
But really,
Mm.
second to that, that you're going to be supported in a rare occurrence that there is something wrong. And
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
and I know that you've got a testing centre, especially here in Australia, and having 70 people in your team in Australia as well, that's massive. I mean,
Yeah.
that's absolutely fantastic. So that's a huge investment on Sungrow's part, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and that testing centre, we do assist with R&D work as well. When a new product is coming onto the market, they send us down a sample, and because there's a couple of us, Warren and myself here, are installers to trade, we set it up, connect it up, do all the testing, evaluations, and all the rest of it. And if there is glitches in it, we communicate with China and we iron out the glitches before it goes to market. So it's a really good system we have here. And of course, with the tech support, there's multiple channels of communication on tech support. We got a big tech support team. So basically, from an end user point of view, you want a product that's new. You want a product that's effective, efficient, does what it's supposed to do. And of course, if something does go wrong, everything, no matter what you buy, there's a chance of something going wrong. You want to know there's backup there, that it'll get fixed. That's all the end user really wants to know is, if there's something wrong, will you help me? And that's it.
And I know from we work with over 200 solar power retailers and installers around the country, and
Yeah.
and I know from their perspective, it's very reassuring for them to know once they've installed some equipment, if ever there's an issue,
Yeah.
they just find your team so accessible, and are able to get that support and get that additional
Yeah.
information, even if they're on site, which is absolutely brilliant. So it just helps the
Right.
process just
Time is
flow
money.
completely.
Yeah.
Mate,
Well,
so
the installer on site, they want to go on site, do the job, switch on, show the customer, look, here's your system working, go home, do your invoicing. That's what they want to do. We're very conscious of that. So part of what we do apart from the after sales service is the training. I'm busy every week. I'm traveling about the country. I'm doing webinars, training installers how to install the system, training the sales teams how to sell the system and how to understand the system, and of course how to work with the iSolar Cloud to help manage and monitor their customer systems. That's a very important part of company after sales service, of course, is to make sure everyone knows what they're doing.
is iSolar Cloud the technology used to support installers, or is that broad
It's
sweep?
for everyone. Okay, the iSolar Cloud, it's an app on the phone which installers use, and it's also on your desktop as well, and it's on the cloud. So the installer will use the iSolar Cloud app to do the commissioning. You don't go pressing buttons on the inverter anymore. You just use your app, you log in. It's got a set process. You just follow one after the other. You just do the settings, done.
Oh,
Data goes up onto the cloud. End user can log in to see what their consumption is, see what the production is, see what the battery charge is, and it also has the historical data so they can look at the patterns. Installers and ourselves, we can of course log in on a deeper level to get into settings and firmware updates and all the rest of it. So we can manage it remotely. And of course with installers, previously if there was something not right, even if the inverter was working and the end user thought it wasn't, you had to go out on site. You had to travel out. Nowadays you go, what's the serial number? Log in, and you get everything. You get all the information there. So it's a good time saver. It's a great diagnostic tool as well as a display for the end user.
which is absolutely fantastic, and I mean, and you hit the nail on the head there as well, because I mean, I don't think that a lot of things at the end, consumers, and look, to our audience, don't understand is, to keep the pricing competitive I mean, the solar retailer has to, really has to sort of, drill down on their pricing and do things and, reduce as much margin as possible. But to go back out and see you is really expensive. It's, it's
That's right.
potentially another installation. So, and don't get me wrong, they want to do it. They want to support you because it's not just about installing you and forgetting about you. They want to come back out and help you. So having access to this kind of tech and being able to diagnose any potential faults and understand the performance of the system remotely is just absolutely, not only efficient, but just an absolute game changer. So that's awesome, Graham. So look, I want to get into the TV show very quickly. I don't know if you've been watching this season of Renovate and Rebuild, but for anyone,
I don't watch a lot of TV, but some programs I have seen. Yes.
Oh mate, good on you. Good on you. I'll be honest. I mean, I've watched most episodes live, but I'm also having to catch up on 9 now and watch it at my convenience as well. But look, the last episode, the final episode, is on this Saturday live on Channel 9 at 3:30 p.m. Before we chat about it, Graham, I'm just going to show everyone who's watching today a little clip of what's going to be happening this Saturday.
So they decided to go, I think to Jess for the Renovate. Sorry, Nord.
Renovation, 1 hour. But wait, there's an unexpected twist to the Renovate or Rebuild journey with this team.
All right, I'm leaving it on a bit of a cliffhanger for the audience. So the final episode is going to be an absolute cracker, not just because the show itself's awesome, but of course we are featuring Sungrow's amazing technology, and Norm will be doing an amazing presentation as to how, in his way, solar systems work and how solar batteries work using his favorite beverage. Anyway, I'm not going to give anything else away. But Graham, first and foremost, I mean, from a Sungrow's perspective, I know it's an amazing show. It's an award-winning show. Why did you guys choose to get involved in Renovate or Rebuild?
Well, from our perspective, it's all about the end user. Whether they're building or renovating, they want to make the home into what they want the home to be, right? Not just what it was. Now, that includes smart energy. As we know, power bills are going through the roof. They'll continue to go up and up. There's no doubt about it. And people want to become energy independent. And they also want to have the backup if the grid goes off. This is where our hybrids come in, because we've got the backup, full home backup. You can continue to operate as if there was nothing wrong with the full home backup. And of course, with the batteries, you store during the day what you don't use, and you use that at night. So you're not losing anything to the grid suppliers. So whether you are renovating or building new, it doesn't matter. You just integrate this into the system. It will integrate into smart homes as well. People are looking at smart homes as well. So our system integrates perfectly into this. And at the end of the day, you get the sense of security, energy management, security if the grid goes off, and of course, energy independence, which everybody wants. Plus, of course, climate change. Everybody's now conscious of the big problem of climate change. And when you're starting to supply your own energy, it means you're not burning fossil fuels, which is the problem. And contrary to what some of the conspiracy theorists say, the batteries don't cause climate change. They're recyclable. They use natural elements, and they can be recycled. The same with the solar panels. So these systems will last. The batteries will last 10 years plus. The inverters have a 10-year warranty, so do the batteries, but they will continue longer. At least 20 years they'll still work. So once again, that's, you for what you pay, for what you get back, the return on investment is fantastic.
It's absolutely amazing. And if you look at today's pricing, I mean, admittedly, if we were having this conversation maybe 2 years ago, there wasn't, from a return on investment conversation, it'd been a hard sell for a battery. But today, I mean, the pricing's come down that much. And that's especially right. In different states, we're offering different incentives to help, subsidize that cost as well, and hopefully more so in the future. So having a battery is an absolute, no-brainer. I mean, and as you highlighted, Graham, I mean, it's like, having a solar power system. If you've got a roof that can fit solar power, you should have solar power and max out as much of your roof, if not all of your roof, as possible, because it's your electricity needs are going to just increase over time. And as you said, I mean, look, everyone's got a different theory on climate change. I mean, obviously, without sounding too harsh, ripping the planet of all its natural resources,
Yes.
like coal, oil, and then burning them to create carbon and polluting our atmosphere isn't logical and makes no sense anyway. No. Especially when you've got so many, especially in Australia, but anywhere around the world where you've got like a natural resource that's going to last for a few more million or hundreds of millions or billions of years, like the sun. So it makes common sense to have it, but just really climate change and the environmental side alone. I mean, you're right. Power prices are ridiculous. And, as we move to 100% renewable energy and the grid is fundamentally powered by renewable energy, that's going to be pretty expensive. So the fact is, it's going to, those expenses are going to land in your electricity bill no matter what. So you're better off having independence today. And if I get back to the tech, and now I've got out of preach mode, what I love about your technology the most, especially seeing it on site, because the guys were assembling it for us whilst we were there, and it was incredible to see. I mean, literally, your battery system is like a Lego set. It's so easy to assemble.
You just put it together, plug it in, switch it on. It's fantastic. It's not like the old days. I remember the old days where you had to have multiple control pieces of equipment, wiring, switches, and of course you had to do a lot of commissioning on these. You had to go in and do all these settings, and it took ages and ages. But I say now, you basically stack them on top of each other, you put the lid on, you plug in the cables, plug into the inverter, switch it on, done.
Mate,
that's it.
I love it. Yeah. Absolutely love it.
And of course, you can scale the battery. You can start with a small system like 6.4 kilowatt hours if you're on a single phase supply, and you can just add more modules as you go. So it's a simple thing to do.
Which is absolutely brilliant. And look, it's one of the things that we sort of recommend to our audience is like, obviously getting a solar power system is a must. But then if we always recommend adding batteries. But what's great about your particular setup is modular. And as you said, you can start with 6.4 kilowatt hours and then just keep on adding a module at a time if you need to. And then you can, depending on how much of a nerd you are, but know that they've got access to your app as well that can kind of show you, how much electricity you're producing, how much you're storing, how much you're discharging, and then you can kind of do the math yourself and say, well, hang on a second, I'm actually using more electricity at night. My battery's already, drained. So what I need to do is add another battery module. And I've got an extra 8 kilowatts, creating the day. There's no point selling it back to the grid, but you're going to get like pittance for it. So you're better off storing it.
And there's a good chance they might even stop paying people for it. The other good aspect about our system is it is VPP ready, which is virtual power plant. So all the end user needs to do is sign up, and it's literally on the app. You just go, boom, done. Okay. And what that allows the customer to do is whoever the company they go with can then take charge of the battery, and they can sell the battery energy into the grid when the price is high, and they can charge back from the grid when the price is low. So they're actually making even more money out of the system.
Completely.
You're not just saving money, you're actually making profit out of it. It's incredible.
I'll take this opportunity to spruik Origin Energy because they're one of our partners, and the Original Loop, which is their VPP program, is so simple. It's entry level to VPP. You don't need to overly, it's very easy to understand, guaranteed returns, and most importantly, it just only, it's limited how much you'll actually discharge into the grid. So you've actually got the benefit of your battery all year round, but you're also getting a fixed amount of money each year as a return on investment. So it's fantastic. And I know Sungrow's batteries are part of that program as well, which is awesome. So Origin Loop people, you heard it here first. Read about it on our website. Good stuff. So Graham, before we finish up, I've got a couple of questions for you. I mean, first and foremost, our audience and our customers are always looking for new and cutting edge technology. I mean, I know you've got some crazy good tech already, but is there anything in the pipeline for Sungrow that you can share with me on this podcast?
Well, we are just now, in the next couple of weeks, we are releasing new three-phase hybrid inverters. It'll come in a 15, 20, 25 kilowatt, which is huge. You can parallel these. So not only if you've got a large three-phase supply house, but if you've got a commercial building, like doctor surgeries, dentist surgeries, you can put these new three-phase hybrids and stack them, multiple units. You can stack up to 160 kilowatt hours of battery on one inverter, and use that as the backup. So if the power goes down, the dentist is drilling, they won't even notice, they'll just keep drilling. Not that you want.
Yeah, just add a few more nightmares. People hate the dentist.
But it's opening up. We're also releasing a new DC EV charger. 30 kilowatt
Awesome.
will be on the market very, very soon as well. And we are testing 180 kilowatt EV chargers, which are for like buses, trucks, and things like that. So that's coming on the market soon. So we've got all this new technology. We continuously develop new technology. I started with the company 6 years ago, and I've seen Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and Gen 4 is in progress. I've seen other inverter companies that I used to do 10 years ago, they've still got the same inverter, which is nice, they work. But technology changes really fast, and you've got to be up there, innovating to be in front. And that's what we've been doing. That's what we're very good at. The innovation has made our inverters and hybrids the best on the market. And people see that.
No, that's and you're so bang on. And look, once again, I mean, I'm just going to kind of go back to a slight point where you mentioned, which is invaluable, which is the benefits of battery storage. And you've highlighted, the addition to a 3-phase. I mean, there are a lot of homes that are 3-phase, and a lot of our sort of the celebrity builders that we see on the block and on our TV shows that we work on, they primarily have 3-phase homes themselves. So it really is finding a suitable 3-phase unit that allows you then to add battery storage to, which is insanely important. And the other point you raised, which I just want to sort of touch on as well, is the benefits of batteries if there is a blackout. I mean, people may just say, well, I've never had a blackout, or I live in an area that doesn't have blackout. Mm-hmm. The unfortunate reality of life is, as we put more load onto this grid, our infrastructure is pretty outdated, right? And it's
not just that. I used to live in Adelaide, and I don't know if you remember, about maybe 7-8 years ago, we had these storms, and all the pylons blew down and the whole grid went down. And the only people that could still make a cup of coffee and have some toast were the people with the backup battery. Because it was days, it was a week. Sometimes we were a week without power. So that happens. Lightning strikes, knock the power off. Power does go off. There's no doubt about it. So do you want to sit in the dark, or do you want to still have your lights in your fridge? Of course, you might have about $500 worth of product in your fridge. And if it goes off, you're going to have to go and buy more. But our backup system will keep your fridge on. So.
Well, exactly. And even if you consider the importance of technology today, like even having internet, I mean, if your power goes down, your modem goes off, you run out of battery on your phone, I mean, you've got no data on your phone, you've got no access to Wi-Fi through your internet. So just that as a basic resource, we're so dependent on technology today. It's imperative. Yeah. And as you said, with doctor surgeries and anyone in the medical profession, I mean, you need to have that battery backup. So if you've got a patient...
They've got fridges with the medicines in it, very expensive. And you can keep the fridge on, you can keep the lights on, you can keep the computers on, so you can actually continue to work and see your patient. So it's.
Look, I think we've built the case, Graham. I mean, anyone now, if you're not getting a battery after this conversation, I don't know when you're going to.
I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I can't think why you wouldn't do it.
Oh, look, and I know affordability, especially with the cost of living right now, is something on everyone's mind. But understanding every single solar retailer has access to finance plans.
Credit. That's right. But most solar retailers will say, like, we can do a loan system. So you're paying for it with the money that you save. So it's actually not costing you anything. You save. So instead of having that bill for $1,000, you pay for your system with it. So
completely. Use the savings to pay for your system. Final question for you, Graham.
Yes.
This is what I always like to ask. And you're being an engineer and a technician yourself. If I was your solar sort of magic genie, and I granted you a wish and said, Graham, what product would you love to see Sungrow produce next that's not on the market, or not that you know of coming out? What would it be? What would you love to see?
Okay, that's a tough one, because we pretty much do everything. We do EV chargers. We actually do wind power overseas.
Oh, wow.
We do energy management overseas. We do the batteries, everything from the small scale to the big scale. So basically everything to do with energy efficiency, we already do that. Our motto is clean power for all. And it's not just a slogan, it's clean power for all. That's what we want to do. And we're supplying into these markets, remote areas, so they can have electricity that they didn't have before. So I'm looking for improvements in efficiency in the systems, and of course integration with your home management systems, which is in the pipeline, which is really good. It's all going to be together. And of course you can have systems where you can program things to happen at certain times when there's ample power to do it. And so yeah, it's we're at the future. We're almost at the future now. When I was a kid, they used to show these things on TV, what it will look like in the future, and we're pretty much there now.
It's actually crazy how people watch science fiction thinking it's far fetched, but it doesn't take long, Rich, before we catch up to that sort of level of technology.
Right. It's just where there's a will, there's a way, as they say, and we will relentlessly march forward with technology to make our lives better, which is what we want to do. Yeah.
Oh, mate, look, fantastic, Graham. Well, what a lovely note to leave it on. So, guys, first and foremost, Graham, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been
Thanks, Roshan. That's fantastic. Yeah.
No, you're a good man. And guys, just remember, Renovate and Rebuild on this Saturday, 3:30 p.m. on Channel 9. Not only will be the season finale, but we're also going to get to see Sungrow, and it's a really, really entertaining segment. And I've never seen solar power technology.
I'll be watching it.
It's going to be shown. So, great. Thanks once again, Graham. Lovely to see you, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Roshan. Thank you, and for the team at Energy Matters, thanks very much. Sungrow is pleased to be part of this.
No, you're one of our favourite partners, Graham, and we love Sungrow, and it's been a pleasure having you on today. All right, guys, thank you. So before we finish up, just want to say, if you haven't gone solar, surely this conversation would have inspired you, so please do. Starting point is just jump onto our website, click any of the links that you see there to get a quote for solar power, maybe up to 3, depending on whether or not we have retailers servicing your particular postcode, and they'll be happy to send you the most competitive quotes for solar power. And I'm hoping that you'd also be encouraged to look at the pricing for the battery and consider installing a battery. It's never too late to go solar. If for anyone else watching this today who doesn't currently watch or doesn't actively watch our stuff, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see every single podcast and all the TV programs and episodes and segments that were filmed over the last 3 years. We've got more stuff coming up, another TV show going live next month on Open Homes Australia. But for now, Renovate and Rebuild, Channel 9, final episode, 3:30 p.m. It's going to be absolutely amazing this Saturday. All right, take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you next time.